Now to NBC5 Responds. We've continued to hear reports about an uninsured school bus company transporting Chicago students across the area. It was last month NBC5 Responds looked into Culver's transportation, and it was our investigation that prompted the state to revoke the registrations of nearly a dozen school buses.
So why were these buses still driving around the area with young children on board? NBC5 Responds' PJ Randhawa has the latest from law enforcement and a former bus driver who says the company needs to face the consequences.
While driving down the Kennedy Expressway last month, Diane Ireland says these two old buses caught her attention.
When I saw the bus with the kids on it, I was like, that's just not right.
2 days prior, Diane and her husband saw our NBC5 Response investigation about how Culver school buses were operating without insurance. In response, the Illinois Secretary of State revoked the registrations for all 9 Culver school buses. Yet more than a month later, Culver's buses were still on the road.
We're like, we got to let PJ know that that job isn't done. And you need to follow up on that. The names were obscured or part of the letters were missing.
The Secretary of State tells us one Culver's bus Diane captured was using an expired plate. The agency has since confiscated all of Culver's license plates.
You can see that there's a huge dent in the side of the bus.
Is that duct tape?
Yeah, it actually was duct tape.
Oh.
That's not normal. You don't duct tape that. That has to be replaced.
Now meet Jane, a former Culver school bus driver. That's not her real name, and we're obscuring her identity because she's afraid of retribution.
The clearance light is broken, missing out of there. That would not pass.
Jane says the Culver's buses she drove were rarely repaired and dangerous.
You had buses in there. The gauges didn't even work. You playing guess what, far speed limit. Yeah, no lights on the dash.
Jane says she started working for Culver's in 2023. She was paid under the table and was hired without any of the documentation the state requires for school bus drivers, like a school bus driver permit, drug screening, physical examination, and FBI criminal background check.
I was never sent for a physical. I was never sent for fingerprints. This is normal protocol, especially if you're going to be transporting kids.
Jane also sheds light on a mystery NBC5 Responds has been trying to unravel for weeks. Per state law, all school buses are required to be inspected by the Department of Transportation every 6 months or 10,000 miles. We requested safety inspection reports for all Culver's buses going back 10 years, but we only received a total of 3 unscheduled inspection reports. Were the buses being regularly inspected?
No. Because every last one of them had an expired safety lane sticker on them, and that was a sticker that was registered to that vehicle from the previous company that owned it.
Just this week, IDOT admitted it had no record of Culver's getting those state-required school bus safety inspections. But this statement contradicts a 2017 Chicago Public School Board report about the company that claims Culver's failed numerous state safety inspections. IDOT maintains they do not have any record of those failed inspections either. So how was Culver's able to operate for more than 10 years without a single semi-annual safety inspection on file? IDOT told us it's up to law enforcement to issue citations when non-compliant vehicles are in operation. But the agency also says it doesn't notify police when school buses skip their required inspections.
It was a risk for everybody on the bus, including the driver.
The Secretary of State's office tells us Culver's owner, Sherry Culver, has been cited with 3 misdemeanors for improper use of registration. She tells us all her school buses are now off the road. Finally, Culver's was barred from doing business with Chicago Public Schools back in 2017, but we found several CPS charter schools have continued to use the bus company anyway, like the Chicago High School for the Arts and Intrinsic High School. Both schools stopped using Culver's after we reached out to them for comment. PJ Randhawa, NBC5 Responds.